Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
From Rose Hill Gymnasium on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents the CHSAA Class A Intersectional Championship game featuring the third-seeded Lions of Monsignor Farrell against the top-seeded and undefeated Kingsmen of Nazareth. Tonight's title contest is sponsored by our title sponsor, is Maspeth Federal Savings, throughout this entire CHSAA postseason, as well as Leeds Brown Law, protecting workers' rights on and off the job. Dylan Butler, John Perez here with you as we switch from the CHSAA Class B championship game won by More Catholic moments ago to the A championship game. If you love all this Catholic League action, John Perez, you got to hit subscribe right here on our YouTube channel. Follow us on all our social media handles. A lot of big games coming up. There is none bigger in Class A than Nazareth and Farrell here at the historic, the iconic Rose Hill Gymnasium. This should be a fantastic contest between two teams not unfamiliar with their surroundings. Monsignor Farrell, it's been a couple years, but it's in fact their fourth championship appearance in 7 seasons. You take out that COVID year, right? So 4 and 8 years, but in 7 played seasons. And for Nazareth, they were in this game a year ago. We saw them up at Monroe College, New Rochelle, lose to Fordham Prep at last year's title game.
You know, and we thought Nazareth was fantastic last year. They've just elevated it to another level this year. And what they've been able to do, get scoring, get defense up and down. I mean, they do things that help you win ball games. And for Nazareth, they've done exactly just that this entire season. There's so much on the line for the Kingsmen. And, of course, one more elusive victory would emphasize that king in Kingsmen.
We'll take a look at how both teams got here to Rose Hill Gymnasium. Here is the bracket, and you see Nazareth, comfortable winners over All Hallows. Had a bit of a battle there with St. Joe's C. Those games down at Zavarian during the week. And Farrell, listen, they had a tough road. I mean, it wasn't the same Fordham Prep team as it was a year ago, but they still were. They're defending champions. So they knocked them off at Mount St. Michael on Saturday. And then a mini upset, if you want to call it that, beating the second-seeded St. Edmunds Eagles. So Farrell getting back to the championship game. As we said, 4th time in 7 years. They are 3-0, though, in title games. Mike Dunn's got it cooking there, especially in the biggest of games.
When do you want to play your best? Of course, in the games that matter the most. This is a scrappy Lions team that can knock down an open shot. They defend the ball well and just do everything right. And when you look at that bracket and the road here, it doesn't matter the stature of the team or their records. Throw that out the window. Farrell's been a well-oiled machine, and whatever Mike Dunn says is gospel. I mean, maybe they should canonize him over there at Monsignor Farrell with what he's been able to do for this basketball squad.
20-6 on the year for Farrell, and two guys who have been a big part of leading them to this championship game are our players to watch. PJ Scalisi. What a baller PJ is, 16.2 points per game. And Timmy Manuelian as well, the senior, 6'3", the lefty with the smooth stroke, have both been big keys to leading the Lions here.
Oh, yeah, PJ's been fantastic, a senior, and he's someone that he does a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet as well. He's someone who, yes, he could be a leading scorer, but he's a good shot blocker, doesn't have so much size. He's 6'3", which, when you do play in Class A is not, actually is pretty big. We're used to some of the AA, but I don't want to knock the size here. But he's got some length. He does a lot on both sides of the basketball, and keep an eye on him. If he gets hot, it's going to be tough for him to miss, and for Nazareth, they've got to close out on him.
You mentioned the Kingsmen as well. Their journey to this game started in last year's championship game. Their head coach, Gary Irvin, said where that loss resonated with so many of his guys, and they took about a month or so to kind of reflect on that loss, and then they began this journey to get here and to kind of start what they call their revenge tour. And what a tour it's been. One of only a handful. We'll show you those teams later in the broadcast, but one of only a handful of teams to be undefeated. And what I like, too, about his team is, especially this time of year, like, they don't shy away from undefeated, right? Like, you can't hide from your record, and you've got to embrace it because your next loss will be your last loss.
Why would you want to hide from it? They've beaten everybody this year, and they've shown the rest of the league, hey, come hang with us. You can't. Having said that, though, there's no greater motivator than a loss, especially at that final level, which is exactly what happened in Nazareth last year against Fordham Prep. But it just shows the personnel and the makeup of this team, knowing that they knew how hard it was to get to a championship, even how hard it is to win. Well, they're back here, and in their minds, despite being 26-0, Dylan, they are still 0-0 when it comes to a championship round, and they want to avenge that loss from last year.
Two guys who have led the Kingsmen to this undefeated campaign this year are our players to watch. And Jules Dickerson loved his game a year ago, has only elevated that this year. An all-league selection, the go-to guy. He stepped up to become the leader, starting to get some of that recruiting as well. Fordham interest. Hofstra went to the semifinal game. They're here as well again to recruit Dickerson. And Halon Rollins, man, one of the up-and-coming rising stars in this Catholic League already with some offers as well. You see his point production, 15.2 points per game. Fordham offer, so maybe he'll like this court. Interest as well from Seton Hall and St. John's. His head coach says the sky is the limit for this young man.
Yeah, he's a player that's a wing, but kind of plays out of position, is the anchor to the defense, and keep an eye on him today down low. He's going to be a tough player and a tough matchup for Farrell.
There you see the Lions head coach. We mentioned him before, Mike Dunn. What a career he's had as well. In 1984, graduate of St. Peter's, 198 career wins as Lions head coach. Was the freshman coach for 3 years. He was the Jakes Award winner back in 84. There's a good look at Mike Dunn. What a collegiate career he had as well, right? Played at Merrimack for Bert Hamill before transferring to Manhattan College. He expected to play for Tommy Sullivan, who was the head coach at New Hampshire College before coming up to Riverdale, and ended up not being the head coach when he showed up. It was Bob Della Bovi, and then eventually it was Steve Lapis. So what a great education he got from Steve Lapis, the former legendary Villanova and UMass coach. But he said one lesson that Dunn learned. And there you see the two head coaches there meeting, two former ballers right there. He said of Lapis, he valued effort and he rewarded it. And that's something he's brought to his guys as well.
And it's a scrappy bunch. And we talked about it the entire game in the previous game with War Catholic, right? It's just that Staten Island breed of the lunch pail, do the dirty work hard, be aggressive, and you'll get to play. And that's exactly been the rotation for Farrell over the last few years.
We showed you Gary Irvin a moment ago. He is your reigning Class A Coach of the Year. What a baller he was too, man. Back-to-back trips to Madison Square Garden for the PSAL Championships for Robeson. Unfortunately for him, they lost both times as well in his senior year to Sebastian Telfair in Lincoln, but he went on and played at Mississippi State, Arkansas as well, played professionally in Venezuela, a terrific playing career. Still looks like he can go out and probably get a double-double, right? 18 points, 12 assists maybe, but now he's the leader of these young men, these young Kingsmen of Nazareth who are looking to continue this undefeated journey. We'll take a look at the keys to this game for both teams and our conversations leading up to the game for Monsignor Farrell. They've got to compete on the boards, contain the scorers. That means Rollins and Dickerson, and get out on those Nazareth shooters. For the Kingsmen, rebounding also very important. He also wants to match Farrell's intensity. He knows that Farrell's going to come with that competitive edge, as you mentioned, that you have on Staten Island, and don't allow Farrell's best players to shine. We'll take a quick break. We'll have the starting lineups when we return right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
And we welcome you back to Rose Hill Gymnasium for the CHSAA Class A championship game. Dylan Butler, John Perez with you as the CHSAA Code of Conduct will now be read for these two teams. What a moment this is for both of them, and probably got to say edge to Nazareth, not only because of this season, but for getting to this stage a year ago. Clearly the favorites, but you would be hard-pressed to say Farrell is that much of an underdog because of the way they play. They met only once in the regular season, with Nazareth winning that contest 66-52. That was played in Brooklyn back on February 10th.
And, you know, in that game, Gary Irvin saying that he knew all along that Farrell had a championship degree because they're so disciplined. And what he saw in that game, and obviously a win for Nazareth, but not an easy one. And yeah, you get to a championship game for a reason. There's nobody that goes into a championship game expecting to be a double-digit point underdog. There's no reason that Farrell can't win this game if they don't play with the discipline that they showed against Nazareth earlier this year.
Back to the starting lineups now, and today's starting lineups are presented by Leeds Brown Law, dedicated to pursuing issues of wage and tip theft. Here are your starters for Monsignor Farrell. Starts, as it often does, with the leader on the court, Andrew Malillo, the senior point guard. Eddie Lachlan as well. Steady Eddie, what a story he was in the semifinals as well. A guy who averaged 4 points a game and balled out in that St. Edmunds win. We mentioned before, players to watch, Timmy Manuelian and PJ Scalisi, and Jake Conroy as well, the guy to battle on the boards for Mike Dunn in his 13th season as head coach. You mentioned before, a 1984 graduate of St. Peter's. Now the Nazareth Kingsmen being introduced to this crowd. We'll show you their starters now, and it starts with Andre Prescott, an all-league selection, a true starting point guard for this squad, averaging 12.3 points per game. He is Nazareth's Kyle Lowry. There's Elijah Witter as well. His backcourt mate had the point guard position a year ago, but now he's that combo guard. We mentioned Dickerson and Rollins, and of course Joseph Jennings as well. The sophomore has seen a lot of progression this year, and that's kind of been the story for a lot of these guys, right? And it's funny, as we said, it's not separate chapters of a story. It's kind of that continuation, right? It's almost like a Breaking Bad episode where you go right into the next episode. It doesn't. It's not a separate episode, right? That storyline continues here for Nazareth from last year's end throughout this incredible season.
No half measures for Nazareth today. All full measures going into their final game, looking for a championship and to cap off this undefeated year.
Final huddle there for Gary Irvin and his Kingsmen. Their last championship back in 2018. They beat Fordham Prep in this game 58-48. Irvin, though not the head coach, he's in his third season, we mentioned before, out of Robeson in 2002. And you think Nazareth, if you think this is a one-off for them, think again, man. They have had incredible success on the lower levels as well. They won the JV championship. They made it to the freshman title game as well. So Nazareth, they are on their way up, no doubt. And Irvin and his assistant coaches as well, Michael Camacho, Harold Canty, Carlito Beach, and Ruben King, a big part of that. Opening tip goes to the Kingsmen, and we are on the way here in the CHSAA Class A championship game. Tough defense early by Farrell. The ball goes back into Prescott's hands. Big rejection underneath by Steady Eddie Lachlan. Malillo to Lachlan, and now Farrell. They'll be patient offensively. That's been one of their calling cards all year. Great look down low, but the extra pass, the open three, and Manuelian buries it.
He's got such a smooth stroke. When he finds his rhythm, he's hard to knock down, and a better start for Farrell.
You get two things going right? You get the defensive stop and then the first basket as well as Prescott on top. Dumps it down low. They'll double in the post. Inside is Rollins, and he is fouled inside. Didn't mention before our referees for today's game, Orrin Barfield, Ray Downs, and Anthony Carnaccio. As Rollins will go to the line to shoot two.
Carnaccio with the best hair in the biz of the Zebras.
I was going to say, because you had to give it to Pat Massaroni, no? Like if you're talking about the entire Catholic League. But of the referees, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, of the referees, yeah.
100%.
I mean, it doesn't help that, 97% of them are bald, but Carnaccio, I'll put his hair up against anybody.
First free throw, good. Second as well. The talented sophomore, Halon Rollins. They look to double the ball. And Farrell, such a high IQ basketball team. That's Scalisi three off the mark. Look at the hustle for the rebound, and the possession stays alive. Bringing that hustle was Conroy. Shot off the mark, though. And Rollins comes away, giving it off to Prescott.
He could have pulled up earlier, was trying to draw contact, didn't work for him.
Prescott does draw contact on the other side, drawing the foul on Conway.
Well, you mentioned the Kyle Lowry comparison, and he was so good at getting to the rack last year. He's developed a jump shot, but you see, of course, instinctually, has a nose for the cup and misses the first free throw. But, you know, as Prescott goes, so do the Kingsmen.
Yeah, heart and soul guy who was struggling to knock down threes early, but it's something he's shown an ability to do more consistently as this season has gone on. 1-2-2. Nazareth pick up. 3-quarter court press, broken well by the Lions. Defensive intensity has been the calling card. It was last year, certainly is the case as well this year for Nazareth. Lachlan goes top of the key. They'll swing it. Malillo, hands off. Driving baseline, great cut by Scalisi. His first bucket of the game. And the rebound ripped down by Lachlan. Inside. I think I should have credited that to Manuelian, right, before?
Yeah, he's got all 5 of the Farrell points. Hit that 3 in the corner now. Gets the bucket to go, and of course you hear me like a broken record. You want to keep your defenses honest. If you're knocking down your threes, it allows you to attack the basket and vice versa. He's got both of them early on.
3-point attempt off the mark. Look at the offensive rebound, but it doesn't fall for Manuelian. He'll get this ball though, and there is, PJ trying to go hard. Could have just laid it up, just trying to make a statement. But the Lions get the offensive rebound. Look at a backdoor cut as well. Contact, no foul, that's fine. As Scalisi gets the layup.
Well, there's your redemption, Dylan. Got the layup to go, and Farrell up 4.
Jumper no good. It's just an offensive foul. Oren Barfield says it is. Joseph Jennings called for the foul.
And you just see the size that Jennings has, a 6'2 sophomore. A lot of progression for him, but picking up an early foul. And that's what Farrell will do. They're not afraid to take a charge and get dirty and draw the contact on both sides of the ball.
100%. What you love, too, about this matchup, John, is both teams share the basketball, but they do it in different ways, right? Such a patient offensive set for Farrell. We see those back screens already early in this game, or the backdoor cuts, the screens as well. So Nazareth has to really defend often for this entire shot clock. And Nazareth looking to more get out, get stops, and get out in transition. 10 on the shot clock. Malillo drives. Jumper at the foul line, in and out. Rebound goes to Jacob Roman, lost it. And again, the hustle by the Lions. They can't get the finish. An offensive foul will be called.
Timothy Manuelian has had his fingerprints all over the first quarter of this game, saving the ball and trying to get a possession for Farrell, and obviously knocking down the 3, had the layup.
So Conroy called for the foul, his second early goings. So both teams having to go to the bench. Here is Prescott. Rips it down low. And another charge is called as Rollins was called for it.
It's not an understatement. You hear coaches speak in hyperbolic terms of, we'll take a charge, and you see that every 4 or 5 trips down, there might be one charge. No, Farrell will do it every single possession.
And those are things, too, that not in your normal box score, right? Charges taken, but it's such a critical part of the game as a turnover by the Lions. Mike Dunn kind of saying, listen, that ball deflected, but they'll not win that argument as Nazareth will inbound the ball.
Well, and just to reemphasize again, and throughout the Catholic League playoffs, there's no designated monitor at the scorer's table, so there will be no replay, despite us live streaming the game.
Stepping out, three-pointer, rims out, no good. Rebound, bounces around, goes back to Dickerson, who attempted that three. Trying to drive baseline was Rogers, and he was fouled on his way there. Seth Clark, the sophomore, picked up the foul. It's his first and the team's fourth. Nazareth with 3 team fouls. Inbounding underneath are the Kingsmen. There is Rollins, and he is fouled.
That might be on Clark again.
It is. 2 quickies by Clark, as we'll have another trip down the bench for Farrell. Kenny Myra checks in, 6'3", 235.
Out of bounds. You know, we haven't seen Nazareth really establish a semblance of offense yet. And they haven't had the crispest of passes. They've had 2 offensive fouls. Just not really on the same page. And, you know, you have to remember too, Dylan, probably some nerves for both of these teams.
Yeah, we saw the first game, and look at that. Another charge is called. This one against Melillo. But we saw game 1 as well take some time, right, to heat up with Melillo's second team foul. And it's taken halfway through the first quarter for Mike Dunn to lose the jacket. Already, Nazareth in the single bonus.
Yeah, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of that Dunn pep talk either.
Scoop layup, no good. That was Rogers the attempt. Rebounds, comes to Dickerson, and another foul is called. That was against Scalisi. His first. And Nazareth will go to the line.
You know, Dickerson, one of those guys that Gary Irvin says really underlooked and has some interest from LIU, who they're on their way up. Tough year for Rod Strickland. And certainly a lot of talent in the borough of Brooklyn, not just at the A level, but in the AA and throughout the Catholic League. I mean, I'll wave the pom-poms for the CHSAA. There's a ton of talent, and if you could get them to stay home, more power to you. But Dickerson would be a fine addition in the Northeast Conference.
No field goals yet for Nazareth. All their points from the foul line. 5 of 6 to this point. That ball tipped with the putback by Eddie Lachlan.
Steady Eddie with the high IQ. Someone who didn't play a lot as a junior, but has played himself into some big minutes for Farrell this year.
And nearly was cut as a freshman, right, on that freshman team. What a story of resilience and leadership by Lachlan. We go baseline. Outside, open 3, rims around, no good.
Somebody opened the lids here. Jacob Roman, that ball was halfway down.
9-5, the lead for Farrell as we approach the 2-minute mark of this first quarter. Look at this move, Myra! Count it!
Kenny Myra, the 6'3 junior, running downhill. So tough to stop. Someone who lives in the post, but if you're charging in, good move right there, turning the shoulder, and one.
You look at Myra and you figure this is the guy you feed in the low post, and Myra looking more like a wing, getting out again to the basket. And Myra, the sweet touch from the foul line as well, knocking down the free throw to complete the three-point play and make it a 12-5 lead for Farrell, who now are in a 2-3 defensive look. Nazareth still looking for their first field goal of the game. Will it be from beyond the arc? Indeed, it will. Elijah Witter and a timeout by Gary Irvin.
Fantastic job by Nazareth to finally get a field goal to fall down, make it a 4-point game, and the Lions defense coming up large so far, but leaving an open shooter.
If you're not paid weekly by your employer, you may be able to sue. Contact Leeds Brown Law today. Dylan Butler, John Perez here with you at Rose Hill Gymnasium. 12-8, the early lead for Monsignor Farrell in this Class A championship. We already have a champion crowned in the CHSAA. It was More Catholic, their first title in 23 years. Terrific stuff from More Catholic defeating Cathedral Prep. And Mike Dunn certainly hoping maybe some of that luck or playing well on this court for More carries over to from one Staten Island rival to the other.
There's a ton of Staten Island representation in the CHSAA Finals. We'll have St. Peter's and Cardinal Hayes on Sunday as well.
Up and under, and a foul was called. You'll love the little pump fake by Scalisi to get his defender up, and Scalisi will go to the line to shoot two.
Scalisi, just a high basketball IQ, a scrappy guy, going to RPI to be an engineer.
Yeah, and play basketball. That's no joke. Scalisi knocks down the first.
Isn't it kind of interesting, Dylan, how in the different industries, like you think of baseball, there's a lot of economics majors or law majors, but basketball, maybe he could run front office, but a lot of those front offices are engineering guys. Not saying that that's in his future, but we could see a potential GM down the road, a front office guy, or someone who's just enamored by how things work, and that's exactly what Scalisi is.
Knocks down both. 14-8 the lead for Farrell. Three-point shot off the mark, and a rebound by Manuelian.
I'm sure Scalisi can explain why it's windy on the Verrazano Bridge all the time, too.
Myra, top of the key to Scalisi. He'll drive, pulls up just outside the foul line, no good. And now we're inside the final minute of this first quarter. A very good first quarter for Monsignor Farrell, and that's really good defense by Scalisi.
Once again, got the tie up, and it wasn't called for it, but knocked it out of bounds, and Nazareth has to reset.
Ball stolen away. Danny Highland.
Yeah, it's just a tough pass to make in that spot. Good job by Farrell to pick up on it.
Myra. Kicking it to the corner. Open three. Manuelian. No good. And then a foul called on Myra. His first and the team's eighth. When I look at Farrell, the way they run their offensive stuff, doesn't that remind you a little bit of St. Francis Prep?
Yes.
As well, right?
Yeah, they're good moving without the basketball. They get an open shot. They just haven't been able to knock down their threes. But yes, a lot of similarity between Mike Dunn and Jimmy Lynch's offenses.
We'll see St. Francis Prep in the double-A, the quarterfinals, as Dickerson misses the first or the single bonus free throw. So Farrell now inside the final 30 seconds. Shot clock is off, so the Lions will look to hold for the last. There is Scalisi, but we'll have a lot of basketball ahead for you on Sunday. Quadruple header of quarterfinals in the double-A. Elbow jumper, no good. Look at the rebounding by Farrell. Turnaround shot beats the buzzer. How about that one by Steady Eddie Lachlan?
That almost beat the buzzer as well. Steady Eddie, good job. And the Farrell section on their feet. They've got a lot to be happy about. You know what? Sometimes ignorance is bliss. He didn't know how much time there was left on. It doesn't matter anyway. Bank's still open at 8:30 on a Friday night down the road from Arthur Avenue.
Monsignor Farrell with a 16-8 lead over Nazareth. You're watching the CHSAA Class A Championship game presented by Maspeth Federal Savings right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Fordham University. Dylan Butler, John Perez with you. 1 quarter in the books. And a really good start for Monsignor Farrell. Showing it on both ends, running good stuff, everyone getting involved, getting the rebounds. You check the box off a lot of things there for Farrell in those opening 8 minutes.
They took a bunch of charges. They played well defensively. They did a good job rebounding. Everything that was in the keys to the game. Earlier in the game, that's exactly what Farrell has done. Nazareth hasn't been able to establish a semblance of offense. They haven't been able to get some open looks, and only 1 field goal, I think, Dylan. It was a 3-pointer.
Yeah, Elijah Witter's 3. So advantage, the boys from Staten Island. Lachlan hands off to Scalisi. He's got good size for him as well at 6'3". Lachlan hands off to Scalisi. Myra down low with 5 on the shot. Myra up and under. Soft touch, no good. Rebound goes to Dickerson, and now Nazareth for the first time. Looks like they're able to get out and run. Dickerson, quick movement of the ball. Now the Kingsmen look to slice into their deficit. Extra pass. There it is. 3-point shot is good. Witter again.
Witter, the starting point guard a year ago, now more of a combo guard because he can knock down a shot, averaging just over 10 points a game in both field goals.
Love that extra pass as well, John.
Absolutely.
Nazareth will defend you man to man. Myra hands off. There's Scalisi down low. It looks like the foul was on Prescott. His second. Team's sixth.
And Prescott immediately going to the bench. Good sub there as Jacob Roman comes on, a good defender. Someone who's got a foul to play with.
Yeah, you'd argue probably when you look at depth on the bench, Nazareth gets the edge there. They utilize most all of that bench. Manuelian. He'll try to pull up for a 3, no good. Myra the putback.
Right place, right time, because Nazareth didn't box out. And there's another bucket for Myra.
Listen, this dude averages a shade over 2 points a game. And Myra is at 5 already. And this is part of that magical storyline that we're seeing, right, from Farrell this postseason. There's another extra pass, 3-point shot off the mark. Rebound tracked down by Scalisi. Lachlan had the big game in the semifinals. And Myra, a great start early on. When you get those contributions from not your players to watch or impact players, that's a sign of a team that can make a championship run.
Yeah, not just that. And then because of that, your leading players want to make an impact themselves. And when they get involved, it's just a tough storm. They are a buzzsaw right now, Monsignor Farrell.
A little bit too much mustard on that pass by Myra. Turnover for Farrell, as Nazareth will try to get their offense going. They nearly scored 100 points in the quarterfinals, so they could score in bunches. That ball was blocked by Lachlan. And there's Scalisi. Look at Scalisi, harassed. What a look down low. The man of the hour, Eddie Laughlin.
You know, Dylan, he's another guy, too, that has to have exceeded his average right now. He's averaging 4.5 points a game, and now it's 6.
20-11, 9-point lead for Monsignor Farrell, the number 3 seed in the Class A playoffs. Nazareth, obviously, at 26-0, your top seed. Good ball movement, but hands in the passing lane by Scalisi. 2 on the shot. 3-point shot, no good, and another rebound. I feel like Farrell, as that was Manuelian, has gotten every rebound to this point.
That's because they have. They've done a good job boxing out. That's one rare miscue, and even then it still doesn't burn Farrell.
I mean, already you've got Laughlin with 4 rebounds, 2 for Scalisi, 2 from Myra, 3 from Manuelian. I mean, talk about team rebounding, man. Farrell is writing the book on it.
You know, Gervin doesn't want to call a timeout, but if Farrell gets another bucket, you have to think about it. You'd be down double digits with about 4 minutes to play in the second quarter, and you don't want this game to get out of hand.
Another backdoor cut and a nice rejection by Roman. Another one of the Nazareth players, the junior who has gotten better all season long, a really terrific athlete, has become a better defender as we've seen there. Scalisi hands off, open 3, Manuelian off the mark, and a foul was called, offensive foul on that rebound attempt against Highland. And now it's a double bonus situation, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or are we at 9 or 10? Still 1-1, 9 fouls. Referee Oren Barfield noted. So it's now Roman to the line for at least 1 free throw.
See Oren's son in attendance, too. Played at Malloy. Was on that 2016-17 team that lost to Cardinal Hayes right here at Rose Hill Gymnasium. Played a year at John Jay as well. And, of course, how apropos, his name also, Oren Barfield.
Officiating in his future, you think?
Could be. He's a very smart guy, cerebral. And when John Jay had the alumni game, they actually put him in the Zebras.
Nice. Roman's first free throw good. His second off the mark. Another rebound for Farrell. What we've seen, too, is multiple guys also handle the ball. You had those 2 early fouls by Malillo, so he's on the bench. So you're able to do all this without your true point guard. Tough pass down low. Scalisi triple teamed, kicks it out. 3 by Laughlin. It's nice to be Eddie Laughlin right now.
Trying to think of a better name than Steady Eddie, because he's been better than that. Maybe Excellent Eddie, Eccentric Eddie, I'm not sure, but either way, Farrell loves it as they're up 11.
You might be saying MVP Eddie, the way that he's played at this postseason. Open 3, another important shot, and for the second time we've seen a made 3 followed by a timeout. This is a 30-second timeout as Roman dialed it up from beyond the arc.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered for Nazareth to get it back. Good ball movement. Roman over the skying Manuelian, draining the triple.
We'll show you some of the past champions in the A division. Not here today, but just, 50 yards up Rose Hill here is Fordham Prep, and what a run those Rams have made. They beat Nazareth last year, 42-38. Beat St. Edmunds 2 years before that. 5 consecutive championship appearances for Brian Downey's guys. And there you see the Lions with their wins, beating Fordham Prep twice, County Catholic as well. So even though the personnel is different, they have certainly got that championship pedigree when it comes time to play here at Rose Hill Gym.
Well, and who doesn't want to play at Rose Hill Gymnasium either? I'd imagine that's a small incentive, though. Obviously, winning that hardware is numero uno.
And it's so great. You mentioned it in the B game, but to have these games back at Fordham after a hiatus was awesome. Monroe was different. It was electric a year ago, but there's nothing quite like championship Friday night here at Rose Hill. A little frenetic, the action now. What a pass. Scalisi finding Manuelian. Ten-point lead now for the Lions. Down low, the rejection by Scalisi.
The contributions from Scalisi looming large. He, Lachlan, and Myra, it's been their half. Did a fantastic job closing out. And we'll take another look. And so, because Cunningham is looking down low, he doesn't see Scalisi creeping behind him, and there's the swat.
And you've got to feel so good if you're Mike Dunn to do all of this again with your starting point guard. You have the luxury with a 10-point lead to still have Melillo on the bench with his 2 fouls. Myra looking like a point forward, hands off. Gets it right back, looks the other way now. 6 on the shot clock. Myra, he stepped out. Right on it was Anthony Carnaccio, that official on the far side. And
well, it helped with Gervin screaming at him too. He's out, he's out. So Irvin was all over it.
So Nazareth has been a struggle here in the first half. But like we saw from Moore Catholic in that first game, you could chip away here. And maybe momentum can shift over to the second half. 10 on the shot. Dickerson passed it up. That's a 3 off the mark by Roman. And Farrell, again, getting every rebound. They make you pay for your missed shots.
Want to see Farrell slow it down here, get an open shot.
Manuelian to Myra. Scalisi doubled, kicks it out. 3-point shot blocked. Great defense there by the 6'5" senior Jules Dickerson. But the ball will stay with Farrell. Minute 8 left, 14 on the shot clock. Scalisi to inbound underneath. Lachlan the hot hand, under 10 now in the shot clock. Manuelian hands off to Lachlan. He's got to go. Lachlan blocked. Here comes Nazareth in transition. Bounce pass, layup. Good by Roman. First time we've seen Nazareth able to get out in transition and score the basketball. 25-18 is the lead inside the final 35 seconds. Ball deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Monsignor Farrell. Highland to inbound. Manuelian. Here is Lachlan working off a Myra screen. Scalisi backs it out to that big block F at midcourt. 5 seconds. Scalisi's got to go. Looks for contact. Layup attempt. No good. Highland the rebound. Kicks it back out. 9 seconds left. Myra dribble penetration. Manuelian for 3. No good. Last second opportunity here for Nazareth. The heave. The shot is good! How about that to end the first half? A big, big 3-point shot. You take a look again. I believe that is Roman knocking down the triple. And it's a 5-point game. Roman with the 3. 25-20 is the lead for Monsignor Farrell. And we'll send it down to the court where John Perez has head coach Mike Dunn.
Mike, you knew Nazareth would take their punch back. They hit that three, but overall, your assessments on the first half?
I think we're doing a good job trying to contain the ball and stop them a little bit in transition and try to, slow the game down a little bit for our pace. That's a big shot. You're up 8, and then he hits that runner at the end. It's puts you up 5. But listen, we're okay. We got our guys on the bench that sat down with 2 fouls, so we got complete confidence in them. And we'll come back and have a great second half.
Well, and not just that, you got some contributions out of Eddie and Kenny as well. What have you seen out of them?
All right, listen, I've been telling them all year long, you never know when we're going to call your number. And when we call your number, you got to be ready, and they do it every day in practice. So, this is nothing new to them.
All right, thanks, Mike. Dylan, we'll send it back up to you.
Thanks so much, John. And it's a 5-point lead for Dunn's Lions here in the Bronx. 25-20 is the lead here at halftime. We'll take a quick break. We'll get you some halftime stats, and we'll return for the third quarter. You're watching the CHSAA Class A championship game presented by Maspeth Federal Savings right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks, know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks, know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks, know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks, know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
We welcome you back to Rose Hill Gymnasium here on the campus of Fordham University. Halftime of the Class A championship game. Title sponsor is Maspeth Federal Savings. We thank them for their sponsorship throughout the entire postseason. The game is also sponsored by Leeds Brown Law. Defending you against workplace discrimination, harassment, and wrongful termination. Dylan Butler, John Perez with you. A very good opening 16 minutes for Monsignor Farrell, the 3 seed, and the Lions with a 25-20 lead.
It's been a fantastic finish for Nazareth, and as we take a look at the leading scorers for Farrell, Steady Eddie's been fantastic. So was Kenny Myra, and when we asked Mike Dunn about it, he said he's had a team that's been full of guys that have just been keeping themselves ready and waiting for their moments, and that's exactly what Kenny Myra, who's not shown up on the leading scorers but has been an integral part to the offense for Monsignor Farrell. He's been fantastic down low. He's done a good job on defense, keeping possessions alive on the offensive glass. What can you say about Eddie Laughlin? The extra D in there for defense for Laughlin. He has been fantastic so far, and we see what they've been able to do. Scalisi's had himself a good first half as Farrell just moves the ball so well, and there's Laughlin for the flush.
Yeah, you've got 6 assists on those made baskets, but the bigger number in that first half was a 19-14 edge rebounding. I honestly thought that was a larger edge rebounding for Monsignor Farrell. You see Witter with 6, I have to make a correction at the end of the half. That 3-point shot from half court, that was Jules Dickerson knocking that down, and he was one of our players that we said, right, was a impact player, a guy to watch. Here you see it again, that heave, and does that carry over, John, maybe to this second half and provide that spark for Nazareth to come back in the second half?
Well, as I was crossing across the court, you could see Gary Irvin with a huge sigh of relief going into the locker room, because it's a huge momentum shift. Instead of going down 8 into the locker room, you're only down 5. It's a 2-possession game. Nazareth has been down 5 points before. They can come back. They've got a full half of basketball. And just starting off on the right foot when you get your top guy knocking down a big-time shot can really cultivate your offense and start to snowball and get the momentum going in your favor for the Kingsmen.
The expectation for Nazareth was never to go undefeated. No team certainly goes and says that in the preseason. But when you play against the likes of Iona Prep and Zavarian and Malloy and Brooklyn Collegiate, and then Wings and Eagle Academy from the Bronx a couple of times, some AA teams, and you have success in the preseason, and you can see that you can play with those teams, certainly the expectations rose for this Nazareth team, who starts off the second half with the basketball. There's Andre Prescott. 2 fouls in the first half for Prescott. The putback and the foul.
Rawlins, just a grown man down low. And you know, Dylan, you talk about nobody obviously expects to go undefeated. But there was one person out there that saw this coming for Nazareth. And they let Gary Irvin know about it as well.
Yeah. Incredible story there. It was a text message sent to Gary Irvin November 15th. Of course, the coach keeps that message. Said, listen, God's got something in store for you. You came back. You didn't give up after that lost free throw was no good a year ago. So this year, you're going to go undefeated. And it's a message that he kept. That message came from the mother of one of his AAU kids up at near here in the Gauchos program. The irony of that story comes as Scalisi goes baseline for 2 more. And it is the mother of Prophet Fields, who plays his basketball out at West Oaks in Florida. Look at that triple.
And they're starting to heat up. Dickerson's starting to find his range from downtown. And you know what? I'm never going to question a mother who names their son Prophet.
That's what we said, right? To Gary Irvin, he said, yeah, exactly.
Also, Miss Fields, or if you want to go half on a lottery ticket, please hit up Varsity Media. Ask for John Perez.
Yeah, don't ask for Ben. Yeah. Don't ask for Ben.
No, he wouldn't know what to do with it.
So Nazareth, maybe that Dickerson shot at the end of the first half, creating some momentum, and there's the runner in the lane by Jules Dickerson, and just like that, we are tied at 27.
We were talking about all the NEC presence here. Saw a coach from St. Francis, Brooklyn as well. He can do fantastic things at the next level, and if he continues to put it together, he won't have to pay for college.
And he's got D2 offers as well, but like so many other kids, wants to go D1. There's Scalisi, doubled on the baseline, nearly intercepted, 6 on the shot clock, firing it down low. Lachlan doesn't get it to fall. And now Nazareth, all kinds of momentum. They look to run. Prescott to the hoop for 2.
He fills the lane so well. It was only a matter of time before Prescott, who averages 12 points a game, to give a much-needed lead for the Kingsmen.
29-27, the lead for Nazareth. Their first of this game. In the lane. And now the shots aren't falling for Farrell. Scalisi misses it there. Great defense on the other side, though, by Lachlan. There's Malillo. Had those 2 quick fouls, spent much of the first half on the bench. Malillo pulls up in the paint, up and under move. No good. A couple of empty possessions now for Farrell and Nazareth. They look to build on their first lead. off the mark for Jennings.
Well, I've seen some different looks defensively for Nazareth, making Farrell uncomfortable, and they've gotten open looks themselves, but it's only a matter of time before Jules Dickerson starts to heat up, and some good momentum carrying over from the first half after that half-court heave.
Yeah, beat the buzzer. And now has continued that effort. Three-point shot, that well off the mark by Scalisi. If you went around texting your friends at halftime saying could be an upset, I think Nazareth.
Yeah, who would text that?
I don't know. But Nazareth, with the response and showing why they are undefeated at this point of the season. 5 on the shot, extra pass, baseline drive, losing control. 1, heave, why not? Dickerson.
He's incredible. Fantastic job knocking down the 3, setting his feet. And what I liked about that, it wasn't the crispest of pass, and Farrell needs that timeout.
13 now for Jules Dickerson. Finding a way to score in a variety of ways, especially from downtown. 32-27 the lead for the Kingsmen. You're watching the CHSAA Class A championship game presented by Maspeth Federal Savings right here in the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Back here at Rose Hill Gymnasium. Off the timeout, a needed one for Farrell. They led at the half, and now it's the Kingsmen. A big start to the second half. 12-2 is their run to begin this second half. Scalisi high, off the mark, no good. And Dickerson has been a big part of this run. It has been one-way traffic right now for Nazareth in the second half.
Well, so good at getting up and down the floor, and here comes the Express.
Jacob Roman. 14-2 start to the second half.
Roadway's opening up for Roman for the deuce.
Farrell in desperate need of a response. They have stalled in this third quarter.
I think a big part of that is just the roadblocks that Nazareth puts up defensively, too. They're really good down low, good at shifting, different defensive looks. But they're just so long, Dylan, and it's really hard, long but narrow wingspans for Nazareth. To really cut down passing lanes, tough to shoulder.
And there's some of that length you mentioned as Dickerson knocks that ball away. It's funny, often at this time of the third quarter, when you see a team make a run, you say, what did the head coach say? But I'm telling you right now, they've been in these games all year, right? So, I don't even know if Irvin really said a whole lot as Scalisi gets one inside.
He doesn't strike me as a screamer, someone that's going to flip the table. It's more of the, hey, guys, we've been in this situation before. Let's calm it down, play our brand of basketball. And that's exactly what they've done through the first 6 minutes and change of the third quarter.
They've not faced a lot of adversity, but missing the dunk there was Dickerson. Maybe he was too close to the basket. You can see Irvin across the way from us saying, lay it up, lay it up.
Well, it's easy to say that when you miss the dunk. Of course, when you get the dunk, it shakes the whole building.
Lefty layup attempt, no good. Referees letting them play here in the second half. $1:25 left third quarter. It's a 34-29 lead for Nazareth. A team that, you go back to that first quarter, Elijah Witter's three, the only field goal. And they trailed 16-8.
Seems like a long time ago, huh, Dylan?
This the Class A championship game. Lower Catholic won Class B. Look at that jumper, the turnaround by Rollins. What a skill set he has.
He already has a scholarship offer from Fordham and could make Rose Hill his home in the future.
Yeah, you got to imagine the coaching staff at Fordham loves the fact that, you know, he takes a walk up as a foul is called underneath. Right? It wasn't on the three-point attempt, was it?
I didn't see it on the three.
Oh, it was. So 3 free throws for Manuelian. But I was going to say, you probably love the fact that you've got to be on campus, and the campus is gorgeous. And then you come into this gym, right, a raucous atmosphere. So it's kind of a free recruiting trip for the Fordham coaching staff.
What was the old adage for Lou Carnesecca? His recruiting budget was the fare of a Metro card, right? He used to keep all his guys home.
Well, you got to go back a little bit further, right? You didn't have them. You had like a token.
Right, yes, that's true. But, I mean, you know, and credit to Keith Thurgo and his staff, too. You lose Kyle Neptune, who was a fantastic basketball mind, and you lose him to a great job at Villanova as Jay Wright retires, and you wonder, okay, well, how much of that is going to affect this current Fordham team? Well, they only won 20 games, Dylan, and a chance to be conference champions at that.
A really great atmosphere here, and especially when the Rams play as well. Final 37 seconds. It's a 4-point lead, and look at a steal by Scalisi. He'll go the other way. Scalisi up and under. Rejection! And a collision and crashing. There was Rollins on that rejection. See it again.
So acrobatic. I mean, I love the verticality of this Nazareth team. They can jump out of the gym.
Scalisi, how tough was that?
Scalisi just a scrappy guard that can get down there, keeping this a 2-point game. And you know what, Dylan? If you ask both of these teams, would it be a one-possession game going into the fourth, they'd sign up every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
10 now for PJ, and a good response for the Lions. They're now down by 2. Final 4 seconds. Dickerson looking to beat the buzzer again. Doesn't get that basket. Ball goes out of bounds, and that will end the third quarter. So Nazareth with a big response, especially early on. They go from a deficit to a lead, with Jules Dickerson helping lead the way, as well as Jacob Roman. The final 8 minutes of regulation time coming up next, right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to Rose Hill Gymnasium here in the Bronx. The fourth and final quarter coming up here in the CHSAA Class A championship game, presented by Maspeth Federal Savings, as well as Leeds Brown Law. defending you against workplace discrimination, harassment, and wrongful termination. For more information, visit leedsbrownlaw.com or click the link in the description below. Fourth quarter coming up, and both teams have shown the ability to get runs and play well. And you just wonder here, who will have that last response in the fourth quarter? Will it be Nazareth? Will they improve to 27-0? Or will Monsignor Farrell remain undefeated in championship appearances? A lot to be decided here in the final 8 minutes or more.
I think with the quarter that Nazareth has, you have to be happy if you're a Kingsman, especially what they've been able to do to facilitate, to get some open shots, but really let their defense start their offense and get back into this game. And it was only a matter of time before Dickerson showed up, right?
Manuelian driving, lefty layup. Are they counting it? They are not counting it. It was before the drive. Here you see Manuelian again. That's where the foul was. Good call there by the referees. You see right away Orrin Barfield waving off that basket. Scalisi down low. No good.
That was Rollins who had the deflection, then a foul afterwards. It's just a double whammy for Farrell, as they just haven't had the best of quarters. Jay Conroy picks up the foul.
And again, Fordham University will be the site of the Catholic AA quarterfinals. John Perez will be on the call for the first two of those. I'll be making the trip from Coney Island for the Catholic State Hockey Championship for the final two games. All four of the quarterfinal games right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Baseline turnaround jumper by Rollins.
Had the deflection on the other hand on the block shot, on the other end, and now hits the floater. And Farrell needed that bucket in the worst way.
Malillo's first basket of this game.
You know, it's funny because Malillo's a guy that has the ability to score 30 points a game or rack up 10 assists per game. He's just a complete package.
That was a bit of a four-shot by Dickerson, and the rebound goes long and out of bounds, so Farrell will have the ball with a chance to tie.
Still a lot of time left, obviously, in this ball game, and you know, what's the response for Farrell? And we saw the early foul trouble for the Lions, and this isn't a knock on Lachlan and Myra, who's kept them in the game, but eventually you want your stars to start shining.
Look down low, Scalisi. He's hammered. And now Scalisi will go to the line. Fouled by Prescott.
Good acrobatic block by Rollins, but obviously the foul coming up.
So Scalisi to the line, 10 points and 4 rebounds for PJ. First free throw off the mark. Guess he can look down low. It was all ball from behind, as you mentioned, Rollins, but the foul was underneath by Prescott. And PJ will go 1 of 2 from the line. Oh, wide open down low. Nobody picked up. Roman.
Got to get back down there on defense. You know, Roman's not exactly the smallest guy. Someone's got to see him charging down the floor and pick him up.
How about Jesse Roman, man? Averaging 1.3 points per game, up to 10 here in this title contest.
Someone who's been known for his defense, looming large offensively.
Malillo works off the screen, pulls up, foul line jumper, no good. And here's Prescott. It's now Nazareth looking to take some air out of the ball. Right, almost looking like four corners here as Prescott works it inside to Rollins. Double teams, and he was fouled.
Please don't say four corners. That's the death of basketball. Dean Smith, obviously one of the best coaches of all time. Not exactly a lot of ingenuity of just holding on to the ball with no shot clock.
Well, they went two corners because everybody else, the other three guys, were all moving around. Look at his move and another foul against Scalisi. So Scalisi's fourth.
And that'll bring Myra onto the floor after this first free throw by Dickerson, who has just been heating up. Has a baker's dozen. Will add to that lead if he makes his free throws.
6 rebounds as well for Jules Dickerson. There you see him driving baseline. The needed foul by Scalisi because that was a layup, no doubt, by Dickerson. Second free throw is good for a guy who's got that mixture of D2 and one looks, a late bloomer. How many times, right? You can go throughout the history of this league. So many guys earn their scholarship by playing really well from like January on. Not to say that Dickerson hasn't before, but he's elevating his game at the best time of the year. A charge was called.
And that's Prescott underneath again, drawing the charge. Boy, Prescott's done a fantastic job setting his feet and forcing turnovers. And there you go. And listen, if it wasn't a charge, it's a block by Rollins. Either way, the Kingsmen putting it together. And I guess they just needed a half to wake up and find their mojo.
41-37, the lead for Nazareth. A year ago, the Kingsmen suffered a difficult defeat to Fordham Prep in this game. Not here. That was at Monroe College in New Rochelle. A foul on the jump shot. And some more free throws to be had. Foul was on Seth Clark. His third. Clark, also a two-way starter for the Monsignor Farrell football team, as Joseph Jennings will go to the line to shoot two.
Good year for the Lions as well in the AAA.
Jennings, and this is why a contribution from Roman is so important. Jennings averages like 7 points a game, not on the score sheet just yet, but you've got other guys who go and pick up that missed production.
That's what championship teams do. They find a way to pick each other up, shoulder the burden, and keep the pace, and keep the faith.
Jennings goes 1 of 2. 42-37, the lead for Nazareth. They are 26-0 on this season. Scalisi. And you could see the ratcheted up defense, but Manuelian doesn't care about that. A very important three by the senior. 2-point ball game. The lefty with the smooth stroke. He averages just under 12 points a game.
He's got a good fastball, too. Two-sport athlete. Go to Montclair State to play baseball.
Prescott misses the layup attempt. And now Farrell with an opportunity to tie or take the lead. Inside 4 minutes left in regulation. Myra. Look at the defensive intensity by Nazareth, doubling the ball, but an open shot. Manuelian off the rim, offensive rebound by Conroy. And a timeout called by Farrell. It'll be a full timeout, and we'll take it with them as well. 3:35 left in the fourth quarter. It's Nazareth with a 42-40 lead over Farrell in the CHSAA Class A championship game presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Good look at the Farrell bench there. Mike Dunn hoping to lead his team to another championship and spoil an undefeated season for Nazareth. There are not many undefeated teams. John Perez left in New York State. There's a look at him. Poly Prep in Class B, 24-0. You got Dwaynesburg and Mariah, both in Class C, 22-0 and 21-0.
Well, good luck to all of them. I mean, an undefeated season, etch your name in the history books. But never easy, especially to win a championship, not to mention the pressure of being undefeated.
3 attempts for Manuelian. Jump ball is called. It'll be Nazareth ball. 3 attempts, John, to tie this game. Manuelian unable to get any of them as Clark checks back in for Myra with 3:27 left in regulation.
Well, when Nazareth has needed a stop, they've gotten it and have held serve in the second half.
Prescott to the bench. We saw him hampered a little bit. Foul line jumper, Rawlings off the mark. Tracking down the rebound, and look at this. Some numbers now for Farrell. They don't often push the ball, but Scalisi says, I'm taking it straight to the hole.
Well, and you like the take there because Nazareth gets caught between a rock and a hard place. Do you pick up Manuelian down low? Scalisi takes it to the hoop himself, and just like that, tie ball game, Mr. Butler.
Timeout is called by Nazareth as the Farrell faithful on their feet. It'll be a full timeout. .250 left in the CHSAA Class A championship game. Here's a look at last year's title game. We were there.
We were.
On the call at Monroe College, a 42-38 win for Florida Prep. How about that game that Amari Ward had, man? What a leader he was for the Rams. 18 points in the title contest. And Jules Dickerson, 12 in that defeat. A low-scoring game, advantage Fordham, but you've got so many guys, Dickerson among them, and Prescott, and even Rawlings, too, as a freshman starter, as a power forward. All that experience, you got to think, helps back in the title game.
Oh yeah, and they don't forget. The great players don't forget the tough losses, and quite frankly, these guys might win close to 60 games in their high school career, 75 games, but they'll remember every loss. And of course, none bigger than in the championship round, and now 250 away from capturing that title and an undefeated season, and you just gotta love the chip that Nazareth has had on their shoulders, still feeling as if they're the underdog.
A reminder, too, for you, Sunday, back here at Rose Hill Gymnasium is the AA quarterfinals, starting at 1 o'clock. A rivalry renewed, Bishop Loughlin, Christ the King. That's at 1. At 3 o'clock, Malloy and Stepanak take the floor, followed by Iona Prep against St. Francis Prep. And the finale, another Staten Island squad, St. Peter's, taking on the defending champions Cardinal Hayes at 7. All 4 games on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Prescott hit hard on his drive to the basket. We mentioned a moment ago, too, John, that Prescott went to the bench looking a little bit hampered, slow still on the court. Working through it appears a leg issue. I'm not sure if that's also cramping on his part, but he will go to the foul line.
Yeah, these players, you get into the flow of the offense and you just forget to hydrate. And Prescott, he's a warrior. Trying to fight through it. So difficult. You can see the agony in his face.
Prescott, back rim on the first attempt. Here you see him again getting to the basket. How about that look by Travis DeLuise right into your living room? Part of this outstanding Varsity Media Network crew we have for you here tonight from Rose Hill.
At the 18 throughout the playoffs.
Both free throws off the mark. So now the Lions, who led through the entire first half, a chance to take back the lead and do so inside the final 3 minutes. Backdoor cut, layup is good. Steady Eddie's back at it.
He moves so well without the basketball, and a nice feed down low by the Lions.
11 now for Lachlan. And a lot for Lachlan. Yeah, I was going to say, Steady Eddie, 11 points. And Farrell, the 2-point lead. Dickerson turns, great defense. Jump ball called. How about that by Scalisi? Farrell ball.
They're just a scrappy team that turns up the defense when they need to, Dylan, and they've done that the entire season and in this ball game.
Melillo, and a timeout was called by Irvin. I think it's an injury timeout as Prescott went down. It'll be a full timeout, and we'll take it with them as well. 1:52 left. Don't go anywhere. The CHSAA Class A Championship will be won when we return right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to Rose Hill Gymnasium. It's heating up here on the campus of Fordham University. Dylan Butler, John Perez with you. 1:52 remaining. It is Monsignor Farrell. 44-42 lead over top-seeded Nazareth, undefeated Nazareth. Timeout-wise, we've got 2 timeouts remaining for both teams. Foul situation. Got 7 for Farrell, 4 for Nazareth. Scalisi, bump, no foul.
And remember, Scalisi's got 4 fouls himself if he tries to drive to the basket or can't play heavy defense.
There is Scalisi. All league selection. Scalisi to the hole. No good. Rebound pulled down, and here comes Nazareth. Oh, unfortunate. Or I should say lucky, because the ball went off of Prescott's heel, but went back to his own teammate. Looking to move to the basket, up and under. Witter can't get the bunny. And then the double whammy. Witter called for the foul.
Tough foul to take in that spot. As Farrell just getting it done in the trenches.
Lions, here you see it again. Scalisi gets down the rebound. Watch off the miss. It's a guy maybe looking to try to make a play, stripped from behind, but called for the foul.
You got to be certain if you're going to make that play with a minute to go in the fourth.
Under a minute now. Timeout by Mike Dunn. You can't take them home with you, right? So important to take it here, especially when you are so, it'll be a 30, you are so used to having to go through your set plays. Speaking of the all-league team, we'll show you those selections for A, Brendan Armour, your most valuable player. And there's a look at all the all-league selections here in Class A. And Gary Irvin, the coach of the year. And like a true former terrific point guard that he was, shared in the wealth of that award, saying that his assistant coaches, Michael Camacho, Harold Pantry, Carlito Beach, and Reuben King, were such a big part of that as well.
He's starting to build a culture here and a winning atmosphere for Nazareth. But still has to get over the hump and win the big one. Has to get a stop on defense and find a way to get in front against this feisty Farrell team.
As a player at Roberson, 2 championship losses at the Garden. Those sting. Those stay with you for your life. He's got 1 loss in the title game as a head coach. Scalisi, tough jumper, falls. 4-point lead for Farrell. The steal, but the ball goes out of bounds. Great job by Conroy getting his hands on it in the passing lane, but the ball stays with Nazareth. And now Irvin will look to talk things over.
Have to draw up a play here, get Dickerson involved. Down 2 possessions. He's got his work cut out for him.
26-0. If you like what you're watching here tonight, and why don't you, right? Subscribe to us there on our YouTube channel. If you're watching it full screen, just exit out real quick. Hit that subscribe button, and of course, follow us on all our social media handles. We've got a lot of big basketball games ahead. A huge hockey game as well, as Chaminade takes on Nichols in the CHSAA State Hockey Final from Abe Stark Rink down in Coney Island. I'll be on the call for that. I'll then hightail it from Coney Island up here to Rose Hill for the final 2 games on
After
Sunday.
Nathan's?
To be determined.
Okay.
It's hard. Like, when you get there, you've got to kind of go, right? But does the game go overtime?
Right.
What does the GPS say, right? Because the traffic situation, the travel is always very important. So we'll see. I might even actually have to get you my charts for Game 3 just in case.
I've got the charts ready. I'm ready to go, so
right.
You can take your time.
All right, show off. I'm not sure how well Nathan's travels, but if you have an order or for Sweeney or the boys.
Oh, no thanks. It's wonderful. It doesn't travel well.
No. Or sit all that well, but that's another story. Off the timeout, Prescott. Ooh, lost it nearly. Driving, Dickerson to the hoop, no foul. That's what you drew up, John Perez. And now for full court pressure. Shot clock is off, so Nazareth's got a foul. And they do. That's their 6th team foul with 24 seconds left.
I think if you could trap the recipient of the ball, you do so, but if not, foul right away.
Also, jump ball is in Nazareth's possession. Their advantage. As Oren Barfield goes to the scorer's table, make sure everybody's aligned with everything, knowing the timeouts. There's 1 left for each team. Making sure the fouls especially are right there.
Yeah, for Mike Dunn, he's getting the confirmation there, and you just want, obviously you want the officials to get it right. For Farrell, just hold on to the ball. Don't give it up. You're going to get fouled. Go to the free throw line, knock down your free throws, and, well, like you also mentioned, Dylan, you don't want to tie up either.
So 16 fouls for Nazareth now. Inbound underneath. Manuelian. He'll go long. This is dangerous. Scalisi catches it. Hands off. Nazareth's got a foul, and they do, as Melillo was grabbed, and this will be a single bonus for the Lions.
Well, 2 free throws makes it a 2-possession game, Dylan, as both teams have a timeout remaining, and for Melillo, probably the biggest free throws of his young career.
Melillo, his only basket came in this fourth quarter, saddled with foul trouble in the first half. Ice water. In Melillo's veins. Big free throw. And this one, you'd argue, even bigger because it makes it a 2-possession game. No problem. Nazareth, their undefeated season in jeopardy. Witter, offensive foul! And it was Manuelian drawing it.
When Farrell is needed a stop or a charge, they've gotten it, and none bigger than that last possession. Oh boy, what a charge.
Manuelian, 13 points, 6 rebounds, and assist, and a huge charge drawn late. 13.8 seconds left. Again, Nazareth, you can maybe get a steal here or force the best case, I guess, is force a 5-second. Doesn't happen. There is Scalisi running for his life. He is fouled by Jennings, so Scalisi will go to the line. What a story being written here tonight at Rose Hill Gym. Nazareth won the regular season matchup. That was back on February 10th, 66-52 in Brooklyn. But Monsignor Farrell, as they've shown through their history, they don't lose here. 3-0 in championship appearances, all coming within the last 7 seasons, as Scalisi knocks down the first. Second is good. 8 seconds left. Dickerson hands off. 3-point attempt off the mark. Rebound. Scalisi still having nothing to do with it. And Dunn's already in celebration mode. Jumped up, loved the defense. Says no foul. No foul. With 1.4 seconds left. In fact, they might just not even contest this foul. They're saying just back up. Don't bother. Inside. That's a freebie by a Roman, but the celebration is on for Monsignor Farrell. Timmy Manuelian and the Lions have done it. They knock off previously undefeated Nazareth, and for the 4th time in the last 7 seasons, the Lions are Class A champions.
Fantastic job all around, Mr. Manuelian. The charge of the year, stunting the momentum and spoiling the near-perfect season for Nazareth. And the title going back over the Verrazano, Dylan, as there's Manuelian again.
When you can see Witter, right, extending the forearm. And how about this for Monsignor Farrell, the 3 seed, 21-6. What a night for Staten Island. First more Catholic, now Monsignor Farrell.
Arthur Avenue is turning into Victory Boulevard with these 2 wins for More Catholic and Monsignor Farrell, and the parents love it.
I think Ryan Woods loved it. He liked that to continue for St. Peter's on Sunday. What a moment for Monsignor Farrell. An upset win over previously undefeated Nazareth, and you've got to think that this one hurts even more for Nazareth. Last year they were a young team, and they were the underdogs, and they lost to the defending champions in Fordham Prep. This year, though, they were the favorites. They were the undefeated favorites, and they fell to Monsignor Farrell. We're getting set for the trophy presentations. John Perez is making his way down to courtside. We'll have an interview with Timmy Manuelian, who led the way, but I mean, so many big contributions for the Lions, and it was a team victory, no doubt about it. PJ Scalisi with 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. We mentioned before Manuelian with 13 points and 6 rebounds. That charge that he drew late, maybe arguably the play of the game. And it's another championship for Monsignor Farrell. We told you about the history. In 2019, they beat Fordham Prep. That was an overtime win here. 53-51. There's the play again. Watch Manuelian. There's the push off by Witter. 2 years prior, in 2017, they also beat Fordham Prep 60-46, and their third title was beating Kennedy Catholic 59-46. You see Fred Opper, Cardinal Spellman, head coach, along with Kevin Piggott and Paul Gilveri, the CHSAA Brain Trust, giving out the awards along with Ray Nash and Pete Goyko. This is the award that Nazareth did not want. A lot of emotions for the Kingsmen. A devastating defeat. Their first on the season, 26-1. They'll end their year. Very difficult in this moment for those guys to deal with that emotion. They should obviously be very proud of an outstanding season that they had. You're not 26-0 by accident, and they have a lot to be proud of, but that message will not resonate, certainly not in this moment. The runner-up plaque will go to Gary Irvin, and again, man, you get better through adversity, but man alive, has Gary Irvin had a lot of it, both as a player, losing twice at the Garden with Paul Robeson, and now back-to-back years with Nazareth in this Class A championship game. We talked to Mike Dunn about maybe having a little bit of magic, said his guys had to play their best game of the year to beat Nazareth. And you can make the argument that the Lions did just that. And now those guys will get their championship plaques. It is a team effort, and everyone on this team will get those awards. When we asked Mike Dunn during the week about why he's been able to find his way, or these Lions have been able to find their way to this title game, he said it just speaks to the quality of young men that we have, the families that support this program. It's been a total team effort. He's blessed to be a part of it, but he said credit goes to the kids and how hard that they work. It's a blue-collar, gritty type of player who buys in and year out. And that's why Farrell has found not only their way back here, but back as the champions. And as we mentioned, an incredible showcase of Staten Island. Hey, it's been a sweep here tonight for Staten Island. They are not the forgotten borough. Moore Catholic won the B, Farrell follows and wins the A. And it's funny, Dunn was saying, hey, I was hoping for a third team. We already battled our rival St. Joe's C throughout the year, but he was hoping for a fourth matchup. And there's Mike Dunn getting the championship plaque. What a moment it is for him. A CHSAA lifer. He spent his playing career at St. Peter's. His 199th win comes with a championship, and he will get a picture with the trophy, and then a team picture will ensue. But Dunn previously coached the Farrell freshmen for 3 years, won a Jakes Award with St. Peter's. He played a couple years at Merrimack and then transferred to Manhattan. Now Mike Dunn, for the fourth time as a varsity head coach, has won a Class A championship. So Dunn lifts up the trophy, showing it to the proud traveling supporters. The season continues for Farrell. They will play for a Class A state Catholic championship. And if they win that, they'll go on and play for the Federation. We already know that Chaminade is in the works there. Chaminade winning the Long Island Championship, beating their rivals, St. Anthony's. And what a game that could be between Chaminade and Farrell, teams that have a very similar mindset. There is that championship picture that, again, they'll remember forever. What a moment for Monsignor Farrell, a 50-46 win. John Perez working the court. And we expect in a moment to get Timmy Manuelian, the player of the game. And in fact, he'll be joined by his head coach as well as John Perez on the court. Victorious Lions. We'll send it down to John for this interview.
Thanks, Dylan. Farrell is the champion in the A, and I'm here with Tim Manuel. Take me through that final play, drawing the charge, and what you're feeling right now.
Well, we've been working on defense all year, and I love stepping in, taking the charge, just changing the possession. That's what I was taught to do by my coach. So that's all you got to do. That's it.
What does it say about this group of guys that it wasn't just one guy, but a total team effort today?
We had some guys come off the bench that were phenomenal, really big minutes. It just shows how deep we are and how big we can go into the bench, and it's just awesome. It's a great group of guys. That's it.
Coach was jumping out of the gym. You ever see him get up that high?
That was great. I think he jumped higher than me.
Coach, is that true? I mean, just talk about what this year's been like and this group of guys.
I think at the beginning of the year, if you ask people that if we would be standing here right now with you, they probably would have left. And, these guys just put hard work in, day out. We got strength conditioning every week, in-season type things. And they bought into everything we tried to do. Once they believed in themselves, and that was it, And one smart man said, listen, if people aren't worried about who gets the credit, amazing things will happen. And tonight an amazing thing happened. That's a great basketball team, a great coach, and a great program. And I'm just so happy for my guys.
Second team here from Staten Island to win a championship. What does it say about basketball on the island?
Hey, listen, I was talking to you this week, and Staten Island's a close-knit community, and we got some pretty good basketball guys there. And when we all work hard, and we're all in competition for the same kids to come to our school. But at the end of the day, it's the kids that benefit because we put the time in, and the families and everybody is just a tremendous, tremendous group of people.
I'll let you go and celebrate. Thanks, Coach. Dylan, let's send it back up to you.
They're turning the lights out on us. John Perez, great job on the court with Timmy Manuelian and a victorious Mike Dunn, as well as Monsignor Farrell. 50-46 winners over Nazareth. The scene will shift before we go off air. Just a reminder, Sunday afternoon, the AA quarterfinals. We'll have that for you here in the Varsity Media Sports Network beginning at 1 o'clock when Bishop Lachlan and Christ the King meet, followed by a 3 o'clock encounter between Malloy and Stepanak. At 5 o'clock, it'll be Iona Prep and St. Francis Prep, and we close things out 7 o'clock as St. Peter's maybe looking to continue some of that Staten Island magic, taking on Cardinal Hayes, the defending AA champions. That'll be at 7 o'clock. The scene will then shift to St. John's University for Wednesday's quarterfinals, and then the championship game, the AA, on Sunday afternoon, also from Carnesecca Arena. All of those games will be right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. So that'll do it here from Rose Hill Gymnasium. What a night for Staten Island. What a night for Moore Catholic and Monsignor Farrell. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin. Our technical director, Chris Sweeney. Travis DeLuise and Ron Pierre doing all the yeoman's work, bringing you all those great images. Of course, for my broadcast partner, John Perez, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday back here at Rose Hill Gymnasium.